kulanti wanaagsan dhammaantiinba kuna soo dhowaada madasha furan waxaa inoo marti ah xildhibaan laga soo doorto xaafadda Edmonton Center ee magaalada Edmonton David Shepherd. Shepherd waxaa Edmonton Center laga soo doortay 3 jeer. Waxa uu markii hore doorashada ku guuleystay sanadkii 2015, 2019 iyo 2023. Ka hor inta uusan David Shepherd siyaasi noqon, waxa uu soo shaqeeyay magaalada Edmonton, gobolka Alberta iyo waliba shirkado madax bannaan. Wareysigeenan waxa uu ku saabsan yahay David Shepherd waxa uu qabanayaa kulan uu ugu talagalay inay ku kulmaan dadka madow ee degan gobolka Alberta hadday ahaan lahaayeen Afrikaan, Caribbean iyo madowga kale ee Canada ku noolba, in ay kula kulmaan 7 bisha Abriil musharaxiinta xisbiga NDP Alberta oo ugu talagalay in dadku ay siyaasadda ku dhex galaan. One more time, welcome to Madasha Furan. On coming up April 7, you are organizing an event. So we will go by that event and check why and what's going to happen. But to begin with, give us a little bit about Edmonton Center. How's things going for the constituency and the community?
Edmonton City Center certainly has had some challenges over the last little while. There's been a lot of discussion around the challenges that have been happening with the number of folks that are living without housing currently. So we saw the number of folks living in Edmonton without housing double, over the last few years. And certainly a lot of that has been concentrated in and around our downtown. So there's been a lot of conversation around those issues, some concerns about, community safety and some of these other things. But that said, I think there are some good things that are happening. We have been seeing people come back since the pandemic. The festivals are back. We've had a lot of wonderful events. I was at the Symphony on the Square with the Edmonton Symphony Orchestra last September. 15,000 people, a lot of families coming down to celebrate in downtown Edmonton. So, Edmonton City Center, a lot of good things happening, but some real challenges that we're working on too that I've been advocating on with the government.
Definitely, and this lack of housing or housing shortage issue, it's something that's going on the whole country. But how severe is it in Edmonton Center?
Well, in Edmonton City Center, I think in my constituency and next door, my colleague Janice Irwin's constituency, Edmonton Highlands, Norwood, is kind of where we see the biggest impacts,
Okay.
In terms of those folks that are living without housing, those numbers doubling. Where you see it is on the streets of our communities, most largely. And certainly there's a lot of pressures there as we see rising rents across the province, skyrocketing rents in Edmonton and Calgary, two of the cities where we see rents growing fastest in Canada. Certainly hearing from a lot of my constituents who are in rentals, in and around downtown that are dealing with those pressures as well. So these are very real issues that we need to deal with. Unfortunately, the current provincial government, the UCP, we are seeing next to no action really to support on both of those fronts.
And Edmonton Center is one of the hubs of Somali Edmontonians.
Yes.
It's where most young people, singles, started their life. And also it's the heart of Somali business, the Nation Avenue. It's
Yes.
full of Somali businesses, whether it's a restaurant, stores, grocery store, meat stores, or cafeterias. How is your connection with those folks in Edmonton Somali community in Edmonton Center?
I think it's pretty good. I was just at a iftar on Saturday night with Khadar and the team from Kulan.
Yeah.
So a number of folks in the Somaliland community. So
Sure.
keep close touch there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and visiting on 107th. Supported a iftar over at Taqwa earlier in March. And had the chance to support a local Somali restaurant as part of that. So certainly, I want to keep in close touch with the community and folks on the ground.
All right. Let's go to the event that you're organizing. And it's April 7th, and it has something to do with the black folks in Edmonton.
Yes.
And getting in touch to the leadership candidates and get involved as you put your poster. Tell us a little bit about the event.
Absolutely. So, of course, as you know, we're having a leadership race right now with the Alberta NDP. Rachel Notley has indicated that she is going to be stepping down. So we're in the midst of a race. June 22nd, we're going to be voting, and we'll have a new leader. So I think it's incredibly important, that African, Caribbean, Black communities are seen, recognized, and heard as part of this race. You know, African, Caribbean, Black communities, some of the fastest growing communities in Alberta right now. You know, significant numbers, and folks that are active across our province, Edmonton, Calgary, in some of the rural areas. These are communities that need to be recognized. They have some unique challenges, whether that's in economically, whether that's in housing, whether that's in access in the healthcare system, impacts in the justice system. These are communities that have unique needs. And unfortunately, what we've seen is there has not been a high level of political engagement for Black communities in the province of Alberta, in part because, well, political systems were designed in a lot of ways to keep our communities out, traditionally, right?
Yeah.
So that still echoes now. So it's been part of my commitment in my time as an MLA is that I've wanted to build better relationships between our party, the Alberta NDP, Black communities, provide that connection, that representation. So I reached out to some community leaders here in Edmonton and Calgary to talk with them and say, hey, let's look at how we can put together some forums to have the opportunity for the leadership candidates from the Alberta NDP to come and meet specifically with African, Caribbean, and Black communities and speak to them about the issues that matter to them.
How it's going to happen? The April 7, 6:30, you said people will come and meet the candidates in the Rapid Fire Theatre close to White Ave Avenue. What's going to happen?
So basically, doors open at 6:30, 7 o'clock sharp, we're going to start the forum. So basically, each of the candidates is going to have a chance to sort of speak for a little bit, 5-10 minutes, present a bit of their vision, what they're running on, what they're thinking. And then we're going to have some questions that are being prepared from the community. So asking about things like access and healthcare. How do we plan to work with Black communities to help them with economic empowerment? Help ensure that our entrepreneurs can access capital, help ensure that, Black Albertans are able to access housing. So basically, how do you plan to work with and support Black communities on a lot of different fronts of provincial policy?
MLA David, there are people who may think, this is opposition who are choosing a leader, so there's nothing much to be entertained. Why should I go there and see the opposition? Let's see who win the leadership and find out when the election came in 2027. So I don't have to go now. What do you say about that?
Well, every day I have people come and talk to me. And they say, this government, this UCP government, they don't represent me. They don't represent the values I believe in. They don't represent the kind of communities I want to live in, the kind of place that I want to raise my kids, the kind of place, province I want to be in. And so, well, then if you want to change that, then we need to change in 2027. Well, then you need to have a leader of a party that's going to be able to do that. So the decision that we make today, right? In June, the leader that we vote for is the leader that is going to lead that work over the next 3 years to bring a change in government. So this is a chance for people to help be part of that decision. Because let's be clear, I think the choice is clear. It's going to be between the Alberta NDP and the Alberta UCP. So this is a chance for people to choose a leader who they believe in, who can get that job done, and who they believe is truly going to listen to and value our communities.
And now that the leadership race is somewhere in the middle, it's not. Do you think they have reached out to the African, Caribbean, and Black community specifically?
To be honest, no, I haven't seen that yet. So none of the leadership candidates so far have put out specific policy relating to Black communities. So perhaps they're saving that for the forums. I know this is coming up. But certainly I think that's important to speak to. Like I said, fast-growing communities, people that are contributing a lot, right? There is a very strong professional class amongst African newcomers here in the province. They are the folks that are on the front lines in our healthcare system. They are teaching in our schools. These are the folks who are powering our economy and our public services. They need to be heard and recognized. So that's part of why we're holding these forums, to encourage these candidates to specifically engage and offer specific policy for them, specifically support.
MLA David Shepherd, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
daawadayaal meel kastoo joogtaan aad iyo aad baan idinkaga mahad celinaynaa daawashadiina. xildhibaanka laga soo doortay Edmonton Center David Shepherd ayaa noo marti ahaa, wuxuuna ka hadlayay oo aan ka wareysanaynay kulan uu qabanqaabinayo bisha April ee soo socota 7deeda. wuxuu ka dhici doonaa Edmonton gudaheeda Rapid Fire Theatre meel la yiraahdo. adreesku waa 10437 83 Avenue. saacaduna waa 6:30 p.m. 6:00 iyo barka barnaamijkuna 7 ayuu bilaabanayaa kasoo qaybgala musharaxiinta oo dhan ayaa imaanayo aad iyo aad ayaan idinkaga mahad celinaynaa daawashadiina